G'day everyone, welcome along, welcome to Steelhorse Station. It's the 7:30 on the 12th of August here in sunny downtown Melbourne, and we will be heading across to the Oaks as usual. You can see it slowly working through the startup process as we wait. Hope you've all had a good weekend wherever you might be in the world. We have been blessed with some early spring weather, so given how changeable it can be in this part of the world, I'm expecting we could revert back to winter at the drop of a hat, but I'll take the lovely sunny 22-degree day anytime you like. But we're just about there, 95% done, and in we go. And we will head across to Ringo's place so that we can roll forward into December. Now let's just jump around here. We're in the wrong part of the map. Too many bits of equipment. Now we're getting close. Ringo's got access to too much stuff, basically. Let's do it this way. I picked the wrong one. I should have picked that one. That's better. Righty-ho. So let's roll the day forward. We know the map's pretty dark, so let's go to 8 o'clock. And we might have to advance the time half an hour. When I say the map's pretty dark, the winters are pretty dark first thing in the morning, so you can see we're still waiting for the sun to bless us with presents. So let's bump the time up and add 30 minutes to the clock so we can figure out what to do. There we go, back down to 2 times. So we're in December. And as you can see, our cash position's okay. We've been doing a bunch of different things. So we got all the crop off George's fields, and George has put a grass cover crop in the 2 fields that he had the sugar beet in, and he's put some grass in the field that, and marked out the field which he's labelled as George 1. Similarly, John's been busy. He's put some grass, or collected some grass up, baled it up. So we need to get those bales across to Penny with the hay, and there's also some hay bales to collect over here. And we've got to finish getting the sugar beet off John's primary field. But the number one thing to be done is to deal with the bank. And the family have had a meeting, and you might recall from last night, each of the family members is in a different position. But the person in the most trouble is Paul in Full on the Hill, who's just leaking cash at a prodigious rate. So the other family members, and he's not in a good place. The other family members have had a bit of a meeting, and George has put his thinking cap on and come up with a bit of a plan. And so what he's thinking, and if we use Ringo as an example, So Ringo currently has a loan that he services quite comfortably, but if he were to max out his line of credit, he can generate another 800,000. And so what the first part of George's idea is, if John, George, Ringo and Penny all borrow the max, they could go a long way to providing funds to help Paul out. And they should do that before they declare anything to the bank. So that's going to be today's plan. So we're going to take the max loan over a, let's say a 15-year period. And we'll take that. So now he's sitting on a heap of funds. So if he now takes, let's say, well, let's just do the same and switch through all of the family. So let's go to Strawberry Fields. Let's have a look at his loan. So he can take another 900. Also over 15 years. And so he's up at 950. Let's go do the same for Penny. No, we'll do the same for George. Now, he doesn't have as many assets as the other guys because it's sitting, he's sort of focused on the sugar mill, but he's still got a few things there. So let's see what the bank thinks about his. Yeah, only another 80,000. So we'll take 75,000 there. Oops, over 15 years. So he's sitting on 200. And then where's Penny? Penny's the last one. We'll leave Harold and Ma to their own devices. So let's go and check Penny's situation out. Now, take a loan up there, another 724. Also over 15 years. Now, this is not ideal, but they needed to arrange the lines of credit individually before they move into phase 2 of the plan, because the bank gets wise to kind of how they're approaching it too early. They're worried that they might step in and intervene. So we've now got the situation where we know Paul's loans run to about 5 mil, but between the family members, they're accounting for around about 3. So if they can get 2 from Paul's property, then everything might just about wash itself out. So if we now head across to Paul's farm, let's have a look at the financial situation here. So the financial situation for Paul, so he owes 4.8. Once I fixed the errors that were in here, it's still remaining, plus the 100 thousand that he's short today. So if we allow the bank to proceed, we'll do 2 bits at the minute. We'll sort of do it in 2 stages, I think. So in the first instance, we'll sell the 3 fields because we need the income for those to get a decent amount of the bank's debt out of the way. We can get rid of 214 as well. Now we'll just hang on to the farm for a minute. Ultimately, we might have to sell the farm as well. But now the biggest problem loan is the big one, or the big interest rate at 5.95. So if we pay off, we've only got 1.5 mil. So we can only pay that down. On 1500. Make a special payment. Okay, so 3.3 is short. So that's the first part of the plan. So we've shrunk the farm back to just the base farm buildings, and we've got Paul briefly back into the red. Now, the next part of the plan that George has got is it's quite clear to all the family members that they need to work together a little bit. And Ringo has the best relationship with Paul. So he'll sort of do the fronting of Paul, but what they're thinking is their original plan was to go their own ways and run their own farms individually. And with this level of debt that they're now each carrying, that's not going to work so well. So George's idea is, how about they incorporate and let's roll the farms together. And he's particularly thinking, so if they were to create Strawberry Fields Agricultural and then roll all of the assets for Penny, Ringo, himself and Paul into Strawberry Fields, then they'll have all the loans, but they'll also have the ability to service the debt, and they can start to rationalize the equipment. So the way we're going to do that is a little bit different. And I realize it's a bit of a different stream, but if I step out of the scenario for a minute, one of the reasons for going about it this way is I was starting to experience annoying little issues running a single player multiplayer, if you know what I mean. So we talked about some of the little odd things about how equipment was working, but certainly had some odd little wrinkles with contracts. And I've been experiencing a couple with productions. And I have every confidence they will substantially go away if we run the whole operation as a single entity. And so then the only tricky thing is how to get it to there, because there's nothing wrong with multiplayer. It's just running multiplayer on my own is proving to be the challenge. So if we switch to Penny's farm for the minute, what we're going to do, because I just realised it's a job that needs doing, is we'll start off as we usually do. So she's quite financial there with the snow falling. Let's fill up the milk tanker. It's a bit dark, isn't it? And dreary. So much for making it lighter. That's all the milk we've got at the minute. We don't need to take milk. We can leave that there for now. So what we're going to do is roll all the farms together. Now, one way I could roll all the assets together is just start the game in single player mode and it would add everything together. I would prefer though to do it in steps. So I'll show you how we're going to do that. So we're going to jump out of here. As I said, bit of a different stream today. I expected it might be a little bit quiet on YouTube in the streaming world with the Olympics finishing and all. So thought rather than do this all on my lonesome, I'll take a bit of a risk and do it here. So we'll save that. And then we're going to quit out of there. And then I'm going to go to there and there for the minute. So save game 8. Let's make that what you can see. So in our save game here, we've got obviously all the information that we want. The first thing we want to change, the loans mod serves all the information about loans, or saves all the information about loans, I should say. So if we're going to roll the loans together, we need to put all the loans into a single farm. So all that should be required is to take that out and that out. That out. And Penny's farm 5, so take farm 5 out. And now, if we change all of these to farm ID 1, so now we'll find we can leave farm ID 7, that's okay, because that's Groomer Farm. But now farm ID 1 has a whole bunch of loans, which were all the loans that were there before. So no problems so far, I hope. So the next thing we want to look at is farmland. And we come down here, this just tells us which farms own which pieces of farmland. So the most farmland is owned by farm 1 at the minute, but if we just change all the ones that aren't, we should find that we take control when we restart. So the only thing we should have here is 7s. There we go. There's a couple of 5s. That's all good. So then the next thing we're going to need to do, the farms themselves, we'll leave those defined because we can sort out some of the other things afterwards. The thing we want to do, fields, don't adjust farm ID, so that's fine. I don't think this, who owns the bales? They're varied. So if we go and search and replace, what we want to do is ID equals 5 is the only one with bales, I think, for the most part. So take farm ID 5 and replace it with farm ID 1. And away that should all look pretty good. I know I can replace all in one shot, but I just prefer to check that I'm not doing anything strange. We'll leave the one up on farm ID 2. Actually, well, let's just shift that while we're at it. So now we look down the farm ID column, they should all belong to farm ID 1, right? So that's moved all the bales across. Yes, we want to save that. So then the next one, missions. There are no missions happening at the minute. Next one is placeables. Now, placeables is the same idea. And in here, we want ideally to search, replace, and we want to replace all the farm ID 5s with farm ID 1. We will replace all in, and that was 59 occurrences. We want to replace farm ID 4s. That's 55. 3s. And 2s. That's it. So save that file. And we're almost done. So that's placeables. And then down here in vehicles, we've got to do the same thing again. So we're going to, all the vehicles, and 4 and 5. And that, if we've done it all correctly, should mean that we haven't broken everything, he says. So I'll just check items we've done, invoices we weren't using, placeables we've done. We're not touching any of the rest. Okay. So now if we go back to the game and we'll start again, everything should be broadly the same, except that strawberry fields should have grown substantially into our strawberry fields agriculture, SFA, as George likes to call it. So that's the plan if it's all worked correctly. If it hasn't and I've broken it royally, it could be a very short stream. But I'm hopeful. And what I'm hoping will occur then, once we can see that, it'll be some of the things that were just getting a little bit awkward and fiddly in terms of double handling will be much easier, because whilst we can manage the identities of the Putney, various Putney children, all the equipment is part of a shared corporation and they can work together to solve Paul's challenges. Always gets nervous waiting for a while on 85%, but now we're at 95. We should be good. So now it is still ridiculously dark. Let's just see if we can get some daylight. Come on. That's about all we're going to get. So let's have a look at what sort of mess we created. So first things first, we have broken... Oh, hang on. Which farm are we part of? That'll be that. That's why we're still on Penny's Lane. So let's go across to John's farm and gave myself a heart attack there, and you'll see all the loans have now moved across. The one thing we haven't shifted across that I forgot to do, but we can do it without being out of the game, is the bank balances. So you'll see there the individual bank balances are still sitting back in the individual farms. But all the land, if we look at the map, we should find is now all owned by Farm 1, as are the two productions, which are producing sugar and pig feed, or they will be producing sugar and pig feed. So what that means is we can now go on ahead and work through and sort out our financial situation a little better. So let's go into here, into there. Here comes the sun, and I want to delete farm. I don't want to delete farm. I want to transfer money across. How much do you have? He has 201, so let's put 200. transfer. There we go. Now if we go to Ringo, Ringo's got 1192. We want to transfer to John. Just do 1150 for the purpose of the exercise. So we're getting there. We'll be done with the administrative activities in very short order here. So Ringo's done, Penny's done for 860. Yes. Go there, transfer. Oops. That'll do. So they're now, as George envisaged, they're all shareholders in what we're going to call Strawberry Fields Agriculture. Unless someone in the chat has a Strawberry Fields Agri will do. We'll confirm that. So that's our main operation now. And as you'll see, in terms of the main loan that was inherited from, from Paul, with these two that the bank wanted paid off, we've now got the funds to redeem that 431,130. Oops, let's click in the right field, shall we? 431,130. High finance we've got happening today. And this one here, 2892,461. 2892,461. Did I have a typo there? I must have. Unless I was short. I was short. That's why. Okay. So we've got to find a little more cash. Now the advantage, of course, is if we duck up to, let's go this. Let's just, for the purpose of the exercise, assume Ringo has run up here. We'll leave Paul with his car. I haven't spoken much about Paul. He's but we've got some toys that we can sell. Hey, Paul's in rehab, suffice to say, so he'll be out of the picture for a little while, and that's why Ringo has all of the deeds. So let's go to the right place. So we can sell a few of these. Got to be a bit careful. I probably should have done this step before. So we'll leave him with that. We'll get rid of the hot rod. We probably don't want the tow car. We know we're going to find at least 160 grand. The rest of the vehicles belong to the others. Let's have a look. What else have we got here? The beats we use. We should keep the better harvester. Well, in fact, they're both the same. So let's sell the more valuable one. How many hours has that got on it? Yeah, let's sell that one. And in terms of headers, let's just sell that one. So now we've got the money to sort out John's account. All of our gears appearing in the used vehicles. So let's see here. There's probably a bunch more things that we can sell. But we don't have to deal with all of that for the minute. We can get on with some farming now that we've largely got the activities under control. I hope everybody is well. I can see we've had a few in. You might be a bit confused at what I'm working through. If anybody's got any questions, feel free to shout. Happy to take those. If you're completely confused by what I'm doing at the minute, we've probably got too many tractors, but until we know where we stand, part of this exercise was to tidy up our holdings a little bit. We've cornered the truck market. Let's have a look up here. We still own these buildings, and in due course we'll sell that. But I think the place that the Putneys reached is, if you look at the map, this has been sort of an uncomfortable experience for them, and so they're concentrating down here in terms of their holdings, and there's plenty of opportunities to expand once they get these rather monstrous debts that they've had to take on under control. So ultimately we want to be getting rid of most of the things here, but there is equipment like this that would be useful. So we might take advantage. Oh, we've got to clear away the access at the gates, do we? We want the flatbed to so the only farming activity that we need to definitely fix before we get into, oh, there's a whole bunch of bales, straw bales in there that might be useful. So we might want to clear those out. Well, we've got the truck here. Where's the trigger for here? There it is. Straw bales, let's get all those out. Do I have any auto load capacity on here? Reset bale position, I may have. Let's just see if we can squeeze in there. We can. That'll be handy. This will be quite useful. Penny needs some more straw for the cows, I think. Oop. And we managed to get hooked up on the steel sheeting. Not hard to do. We'll come back for the other lot after, I think. Now, we might have to run out the back gate, seeing the bank's still got those front points locked. It's where it helps to know your way around. I'm pretty sure they didn't put a mark gate down here. No. Too easy. So I can see people flicking through. I don't know if I've got anyone in chat. It would be great if at least somebody said hello. And let's send you to Penny's Lane. Be a good spot. Now, the other thing that we'll go and get underway that we need to finish before we can run into the end of the year. Oh, actually, we need to do exactly what I was just talking about. And that's transfer to... Oh no, I sold those out of John. That's all right. So now I can go in to here and finish the last of the loans that the bank wanted sorted. $162,280. Make the special payment. So now the only loans that are active are the loans that were in place for the other four, which they'll work on together as part of the cooperative. So going forward, Strawberry Fields Agri is the operating concern. It's got a cash balance. It's got a heap of equipment. And it's got, in effect, a sugar and production orientation that George runs, a pig farm and associated feed production for the pigs that John runs, a contracting business that Ringo runs, and a substantial cow operation that Penny's building. So that's the that's how they're organised and how they're going to drive it going forward. So let's jump over to our harvest, because we need to finish. Looks like we need to unload here. We need to finish getting these beets off. What we got over there? Before this snow gets too much heavier. And before the ground freezes, even though -3 is a bit chilly. Now John's already got a shed full of, I think, sugar beet. So we might send this straight down to the sugar factory for now. Well, we'll go and see if we can tip one more load in the shed here. And then we can get to ferrying all the rest of it down to the bottom of the map. I might have mentioned it at the outset. The decision that all of them took was to put as much grass down as they could before the planting window closed at the end of the last month, so that they can maximize their ability to make silage come the new year, because that was the formula that helped them work together to save their dad's farm. And so they see no reason why can't repeat a little bit of that and get out from under some of these loans they've had to take on to bail Paul out. Well, much of a bailout, just to rescue some of the equipment. So there's plenty in there. Let's just, should be able to get one more trailer load in there, I think, at least. It's just a bit quicker to bury it here. Hopefully. She's getting pretty full in there. Welcome along. If you've just joined, we've been dealing with rationalising the bank, and we've launched a new cooperative venture, SFA, Strawberry Fields Agriculture. Where the 4 of the Putney kids have banded together to fight their way out of the challenges that the family has encountered yet again due to some undisciplined spending. We won't persist too much longer, I hope, in this snowy, miserable weather, but it does look like it's going to be with us for a little while. We do need to get the sugar beet off this field before we can move on. But we'll get a few bits of equipment working here, and that is, we're probably about halfway through the field, I reckon. Let's start you up. That's a bit better. So you're going to fill up there. So let's send you to now tip at sugar mill unload main, I think, will be as good a spot to go. Right. So now we can get the harvester going because he's empty. And what we might do, oh, I've got no lights. There we go. Not that they're having much effect. Welcome along, everyone. I can see that there's 7 of you there. We are in December. We're working just to get the last of John's harvest finished. So let's send this now. Yep. Big factory unload inputs. Actually, we could put another load in the pig factory. Why don't you go down and do that? Now, last week we were on Bertie's farm, you'll remember. And so we got all of Bertie's potatoes in, and much to Ringo's embarrassment, Bertie insisted that the last half a trailer he keep. So we've got 22,000 litres of potatoes, which is a nice problem to have, except that he doesn't really have anywhere to put them. What are potatoes going for right at the minute? Let's have a look. Potatoes, potatoes, potatoes. You're not showing me because it's in the trailer. Actually, they're a pretty good price, surprisingly. So we might just flog them. Where were they going to? British grain. Okay, where is British grain? British grain, yeah, grain. Baton's. You'd think I'd know. East Coast. British grain down here. British sugar. Oh, maybe it is British sugar. Is British sugar grain and British grain the same thing? Let's see here. Tag it. There it is. Which way am I facing? Is British grain on the train, maybe? It is. It is, it is, it is. So we need to use the train. How about that? There's a bit of a novelty. So we will head over there and drop these on the train. I continue to have difficulty with this truck when you get any sort of a, well, the truck generally misbehaves a little bit, but certainly if you get any sort of weight in the trailer, it understeers or just completely stops steering, which I find a bit irritating, to be honest. Now let's go and investigate where we need to load these onto the train. I think it's somewhere near the sugar mill. Which I think is next right. So we'll head on around. That way we can get another truck running, which will just help us get produce off. Now, let's see here. Which side does it load from? I think it might load from the other side. Let's follow our nose around here and see. Is it in here? Is this the loading silo for the train? That's the question. Let's just go and have a bit of a look. Big silo complex. Big silo, big train silo complex. Okay, that's looking promising. Am I at the right spot to drop spuds? Yes. Okay, so now let's go and call the train. Where? Right down here. It'd be too easy to turn that on and actually stand in the right spot. Did that call it? Train is going to arrive soon, he says. Excellent. Meanwhile, while we're waiting for the train, we can send the truck back. Then you can go to... I think I've got that field set up, so... where are we here? All on the hill. Strawberry Fields is where we want to go, isn't it? John's Lime Load Top Yard, that'll do. What? Oh, I don't have a... Let's just get you out of here. First, I haven't got a auto drive connection out of there. But once you get to there, you should be fine. Very disconcerting with the snow falling. It would be really helpful if somebody would just put something in chat so that I know chat's working, because having had no messages in chat, I'm a bit concerned that I've not got any chat operating. I don't need you to have a long conversation with me, but it just would be really helpful. Because I have seen a few people flick through, but I haven't had a single chat message yet, so it just would be really... Oops. I can report to Mr. Brisco that that is still not halting traffic. I have had 2 vehicles hit by the train. Although it does wait on the other side, so I don't know why it tried to drive through there. So yeah, if there's somebody there that could just put a very short message into chat, that would be appreciated, because I do not understand. Well, it's a bit odd that I haven't had any chat messages from anyone in, what is it, an hour's worth of streaming. Everything else looks to be working fine, so... Oh, it's going to ring because I called the train, didn't I? There we go. Let's go and put some spuds in. Now, which car can I put spuds in? I wonder. Let's open the covers. Let's try that one. Start filling. Can I put spuds in there? Yes, I can. Excellent. And we should be able to now go and sell our spuds. Rightio. So let's speed up our train. Sick sounding train. Imagine we will get to the edge of the fields. Now my sugar beet harvester needs unloading, so we'll go and deal with that in a minute. It looks very ill, doesn't it? Okay. So hopefully our spuds will sell there in a sec. Let's see where we ended up. We have... That's really weird. I fixed that. Obviously not very well. As you can see, we have plenty of sugar. Let's turn that off. You're going over there. Let's go and get the other truck. Let's empty you out and send you back. Now, I take it the fact that nobody else has replied to chat would tend to suggest that I do have a chat issue. But I have no idea how to fix it. Very strange. Very strange. Ah! Off-road. Hello, thank you for at least confirming that chat is working. That's helpful. Let's try this again. If I'd concentrated, I would have emptied this. And welcome along. It must be working. This is Farm Sim 22. We're playing on Vintage Oaks. And Jason, welcome in, sir. There have been a whole bunch of folks through. It's just none of them typed anything in chat, and whether it was because they didn't like what I was doing at the time, or the gloomy weather just made people feel miserable, or all of these things I understand. I was just getting a bit concerned that a problem I'd had earlier where OBS didn't want to start talking to YouTube, that I was worried it had affected chat. So you have just confirmed that's not the case, so thank you very much. I'll recap on where we're up to fill you in, because quite a bit has changed. You need to go to, have I got, I'll just go there, it's easier. Right. So we've done battle with the bank. We have, as always, the bank wins. So we have created, it's not a problem, Jason. I'm glad you're here. We've created a cooperative or an agribusiness, which is an amalgamation of the previous ones. Paul's been sent to rehab, so that what is Farm 1 now owns all of the land and vehicles. We've sold off the fields to pay down the debt that's on Paul's land, although we still have the main farm and the vehicles up there to sort out, which we'll do at another time. And in order to get enough money to get rid of Paul's loans that the bank was chasing him for, each of the Putney kids took on additional debt. But as you can, well, if you were able to remember, the two big loans that Paul was sitting on for just on $5 million have been paid off. So there's a range of interest rates and things, but at least they have some money in the bank, and which will cover them for a couple of months. Now let's get these trucks. Back to the ranch. So that's where we're up to. We're just taking the, in this miserable weather, the last of the sugar beet off John's last field. But I've filled up the shed I was loading. I do have a spot there. Let's, what is that tag? No, so Paul's fields are gone. They had to be sold as part of clearing the bank's debt. And the individual fields for each of the other farms have been rolled. And well, in fact, all of the assets have been rolled into Strawberry Fields Agri. That was George's idea. And my background reason for wanting to do that was that as we got more activity happening on more of the farms, I don't have any trucks up here at all. That's the one I want. What are you trying to do? Really? Quick cursor. Stop. Right. That's why I couldn't see you. What's the name of this field? What I was finding is some of those little quirky little problems I was having with vehicles and with productions or contracts. F147, right. So we want you to load at F147 and put a bit unload main. That'll do. Let's just move you out of the way. Are you sitting there? I've got you the wrong way around. That's better. Let's try using the correct instructions. So what happens with Paul, we don't know, but the kids are going to work together a little more than they have. So they're all shareholders in what is now an agri-business in its own right. And it means things like the issues of which vehicle carries which crop, which all those sorts of things don't trip me over all the time. When baling's done, who owns the bale, all that sort of stuff I can sort out. Would you just get... Right, now let's go back. Get the other trucks we need, which should be... Oh, the other thing that I did, if anybody's interested, I just made a small tweak. Let's turn that off. So the standard height this particular shed is installed on the map is 0.5 meter lower than it appears here, and as a consequence there's quite a few bits of equipment that you can't get into the shed, and the fix is a quick and easy one. If you go into the placeables file and you find the individual shed for the farm, you can just reduce the height, the Y height, or increase the Y height, I should say, by 0.5 meter, and it just, there's enough wiggle room in the way the mods, the shed itself is designed, that it doesn't create any nasty effects. So I thought that was kind of handy. People want in future, I'm happy to show in a little more detail how that works. It's not a difficult change. And you're not changing the map, you're actually just changing the save game placeable file. Where are my trucks gone? Oh, there we go. Let's speak of the devils. There's one. Turn you off. Why do you always veer right? Okay, let's see if we can get this harvester back working in. Yes, it took me a little bit. I wasn't sure if I would be able to adjust it without breaking something else, and it was just annoying because it was only, as I say, 0.5 meter just did it. And it's amazing how many bits of equipment, when they're mounted on a tractor or a trailer, just ran into the top of the door and you couldn't get them in the shed. So I did have some wins. And at the beginning of the stream, I did all of the loans and the adjustments to the save game to merge everything into Farm 1 in the stream. So that may have annoyed a few early viewers who sort of came, looked at it for 5 minutes and left. So we're just about... Now that's plenty for this truck, we learnt last time. So let's see. Are you gonna drive properly? Let's pick up and deliver. We want you at F147. Field 147. You to go to... Sugar bean unload mains, and off you go. Whoops. Let's try that. Okay, now the other truck, probably zoomed on past while we were here. There he is. So now we've definitely got too much equipment, but we can rationalize that at our leisure and knock off a few of those debts. Well, I knew it wouldn't be Mark. I'm guessing FSB was at work, and John could easily have other commitments, being summertime at the minute. So I wasn't, because Mark's still on holidays, so I wasn't actually expecting people. I thought with the Olympics finishing, I know it's been hot in the UK, so I kind of expected it could be a bit of a quiet night. And I thought it would just be a little bit different to deal with how I was thinking about amalgamating the farms and creating the agri-business all live. I didn't think I was taking too much risk. Now, you can probably... Are you going to work? It would be a good idea if we're going to do that. To turn that off. That's correct. Start the job. Okay, we've got 2 trucks and 1 tractor trailer. And where are we up to actually in the field itself? Let's have a look. Oh, we're more than halfway through, so not much to go, which is good. So that's promising. Rightio, it is really miserable when it snows. Or dark at this time of the year. So what we've done is we've now got a cover crop of grass in all of these fields. The other decision they took was they're going to need to utilize all of the land they've got around the place. So John's put grass in here, which he can turn into silage. Penny's got 3 fields of grass plus 1 up behind the house. Penny wants to buy this field here when they've got some cash for 200 grand, which probably will be a good pickup because I'm pretty sure that's a silage clamp on the end of it next to the shed, and that'll be a convenient spot to make more silage, so that I don't have to cart it from over here. So we'll probably find a spot that's convenient to make some silage. We could always put a clamp back in where the old one was, out the back here somewhere. We'll probably find some sort of a clamp we can run down there. Mightn't be a bad idea. Somewhere out of the way. Although those folks mightn't appreciate it at their back doors. Did do a cut of grass and some hay, which we'll take over to Penny for the cows. Well, that's what we need to do. Let's check the pigs. What's the actual feed position on the pigs? Right, so these ones are fine. These ones, what we could do to take a load of root crop. We've got plenty of root crop. We could take some sugar beet and tip it in each of the that would be a good idea, wouldn't it? So let's go and grab another smaller trailer. Yeah, so that we've now got grass in there, which will be helpful. We've got a shed full of sugar beet here. Now, what have we got here? Easy to maneuver trailer would be a good idea. We got anything smaller? Thought we had a little Marshall trailer hiding around here somewhere. What's this? Put sugar beet in there. Probably can actually. Let's find out. I'm not sure if I can put sugar beet in this. The Donnelly. Let's have a look. If not, I'll have to get it out of the way. Trailers. Where am I going? Bailey. Donnelly. I cannot. So there's next to no value on this farm for that trailer. Although I suppose I could use it to get rid of manure at some point. Let's park you over here out of the way where you can fill up with snow and be a little bit less obtrusive. Just go squash those springs while you develop a load of snow. Ah, get out. You're probably not big enough. Let's run back up the hill here. What I'm gonna do is just use this one. So let's go and get a load of beet, and that'll there'll be more than enough to distribute between the all of the pens. And then I'm pretty sure we've got to take some hay across to Penny. Although she's got some on her farm, we can just probably go and pick it up. That will be good. How have you enjoyed the Olympics, Jason? I thought it was quite exciting at times. Conducted in good spirits. Why is that sitting? Oh, it's waiting, that's why. No, don't empty him. It's almost finished. That's good. Come on, am I going to get you before you get there? You've hardly got anything in you. That's annoying. Very strange way to set up. Yeah, the time difference did make it a little more challenging, and I didn't think that Channel 9 worked particularly hard to make that much easier, to be honest. So the afternoon evening bits were fine. But I think they could have made it a lot easier for a lot of people if they'd run more replay type activities in the mornings. They would have made it a bit easier. There were lots of days where you could easily find out, you know, what the medal results were overnight, but if you wanted to actually see the events, it was hard to see. It was hard to find. So that was a bit of a shame. But all in all, I thought it was good. And I thought it was great to see some different sports doing well, and lots of kids will probably draw some inspiration for their own activities, which is good. I still remember, you know, my first experience of the Olympics was 76, and watching Stephen Holland compete in the 1500. We all sat out. This primary school I went to only had one television, and the grade 6 kids were allowed to sit in the corridor and watch this grainy black and white, which was obviously very important, even if we didn't really have our heads around what the Olympics was about. I mean, we'd done projects and stuff, but That was my first real understanding of it, because 72 I was probably a bit young and it wasn't really spoken about because of the events that went on there, at least in my household or in my hearing. If it was, I didn't understand it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh, for me, one of the most impressive things was the young lady in the women's 1500. Boy, can she run. We should just about get. It's going to finish this field, which is good. And we should just about have enough to put in the pigs. Come on, you didn't need to stop. There you go. Almost there, come on. Exactly, yeah. Yes, the pole vaulting lady was also terrific. Well, all of them were, I thought. Thought it was nice to see Jess Fox get some recognition as a delegate on the IOC Athletes Commission, so that's pretty cool. Okay, I'm going to leave you there, and let's go and put these. Yes. Yes, it does. Now, let's head on down. What's the cutter set to? It's just regular tip side back, so that's okay. There's no point giving them. I don't think there's any difference giving cut sugar beet to pigs versus regular sugar beet, is there? Can't imagine that you would get any extra credit for cutting it up for them. It's not like feeding bubs. Now let's see, we want to put a little bit in this one. It means we need to move you out of the way for the moment. Let's see. There's only a few pigs in that one. Let's put. How's that? Let's go to pigs. And that's the 13, I think. No, it can't be because that's only got 5,000. Maybe that's the one I just did. I really am going to have to name these a little bit differently so we know. So let's do that while we're thinking about it. That's small southeast pigs. So your small northwest pigs. Renee, large east pigs and large west 1 pigs. Large west 2 pigs. And I think so let's just do, that's enough in there. Let's head around. There's none in that one at the moment. Come on, find me a trigger. What's that one? Okay, so you've got plenty and you're now full actually, so that's good. You've got plenty of food. Now, if we put some, we split this between and this is about just getting them organized a little better. Now that we've got the pig food factory under control, it'll be about loading that up with the grains that we've got. So we've got sugar beet, we've got wheat, there's corn in the shed, and we've got a little bit of sorghum. So we should be able to, have we got any, oh, we've got canola on the floor somewhere too. No, where have we got canola? Where have we got canola? Let's have a look. We do, we got canola somewhere. So we've got all the things we need to make proper pig food. We just need to get it into the factory now, and that'll be then much easier because then you just tip a whole trailer of pig food in here rather than trying to mess with the different constituencies out of different trailers. So that should help us get through. Whoops. So you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You've just bred, in fact. So your feed requirements are going to go up a little bit, but we'll get through a couple of months. Good. When we can start to get them organised amongst the pens that we've got. Looks like we've got a bucket load of slurry there, which we'll get on those grass fields too when we get a minute. Lots of chores to do. Let's run you. Back in here. Oops. Pop you in the sheds. Now, have a drink. There's vehicles that need unloading, which we can deal with in due course. You're turned off, right. Come back and get those after, I think. We'll clean up the equipment in this field. We will. Oh, you probably... Yeah. I'm going to sit there and wait. So the other, my other plan is, now that they're all working for a cooperative, is we'll organise to pay them all a salary, except for Paul for the moment, who's at rehab. But we'll draw that out each month, and that'll sort of balance the finances a bit. We can sort that out after Christmas. So you fold up there. We can plough this field in the new year. Managed to put that trailer in a really difficult spot. Just as well those steel trailers aren't very heavy. Now, hold you up. Well, that's the thing, right? So they're not paying him a salary, but they are bailing him out. So he can negotiate for a salary when he gets his stuff in order. And as far as the parents are concerned, the kids are looking after their brother, so kind of it's short-term crisis averted, and troubled waters smoothed fractionally. I think we need to wash the harvester. We'll have to move. We will have to move those trucks. But for now, I want to go feed Penny's cows. So let's just... I don't have to switch to her farm anymore. I just need to remember That over here somewhere. Is there a telehandler? What we need. Let's just pop you in the edge of the shed there. Oops, wrong one. Now let's see here. Do I have... I thought I did have a bale fork. What's this? Yes. Excellent. Let's try and not impale anyone in this shocking weather. Zip down. Disconcerting that Harold leaves the lights on his landy on. Now what do we got over here? Somewhere in here we should have some bales. There we go. How many of these can we pick up? Probably only need to grab... Oh, did you not? What? It's my bale fork. It's my bale. That's very odd. Something weird going on. Operating position. Ah. Who knew that it had to be auto-loaded? That's a bit excessive. I don't remember ordering it auto-load, but looks like I did. How many am I allowed to put on there? Three. Okay. Don't know why it thinks it's got square bales. Looks like it. The mod is very confused. Nonetheless, we will be able to feed the cows. Just as well it is winter, really, because there's lots of tidying up to be done on these farms. Yeah, it can, but it's registered as loading square bales when it's hasn't put round ones on, which I just thought was odd. It's like, okay, it can tell the difference, but it can't, if you know what I mean. Now, what do we got here? He goes around about there, as I recall. That should be excellent. So we now have some hay in there. There's no milk because they're not old enough. So the pasture is full, which is why there's so many cows. Now we're going for... And we're about half full of TMR, so that's good. We'll have to mix some more. But we might take care of that next time. This needs more hay, doesn't it? So let's find out. Let's get you out of here. Oops. It's a bit awkward. Just want you to go straight back into that little slot behind the shed. Perfect. Now, we'll just park you there for a minute. Grab... I'm not going to try and drive the truck into the shed, but let's see. We can move some of that straw. What's the... Yep. I think the trigger was down there somewhere. Yep. Beautiful. Might do another 3 of those. Whoops. Let's try not back into the tractor with a 3 ton weight and make a nice ding in the side. Having to work our way through the weather to get at least the basic chores done. Would appear to be now full of straw. Or is it? Straw, yes it is. We'll get those ones out of the way. Well, what? No, there's only one left on the floor. There we go, in the shed. Perfect. Doing out of the weather. Can I back you in there as well? Possibly. I do love the fact that you can use Argsy's mod in a shed like this and still access the empty part of the shed. I just think it's fabulous. Oops, just got a collision there, just a fraction narrow. That's better. That'll do. So you can see on this one, I haven't fixed this one yet. I just did the experiment on the other one. And it's just that little bit lower. Righty ho. I reckon we are pretty close to a good spot to stop actually for today. I will be back on Thursday night. And Thursday night, Australian Eastern Standard Time, 7:30 p.m. Thank you everyone for joining me. Hope those of you that were interested at the start enjoyed seeing us deal with the bank and get everything sorted so that we can now get SFA operational. And I'm happy with where we are. We did, for anybody that was wondering, I didn't really check in on it, but we did finish Bertie's potatoes and he gave us half a trailer. He's got a shed full of spuds over there, so he was happy. We've sold the land at the top. We've got some vehicles to sort out and we'll probably ultimately sell the farm itself up there, but all of that can happen in January. It's not a fire sale, but we do have a lot of debt to sort out. So life is going to be strained, but I'm sure if we can get rid of some of these high interest loans that are sitting on here, that'll bring the monthly outgoings down reasonably quickly. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. Have a great week and we'll see you Thursday. Bye for now.